Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Khalifa International Stadium. Of course, everybody watching on the live stream. And let me tell you, these World Championships already, if last night is anything to go by, which of course were only qualification rounds, then tonight is going to be electric. Let me remind you, the fastest men in the world. Yes, the blue ribboned event, the final of the men's 100 meters, that will be on track this evening. And we've got something very special for you. We'll talk to you about that later. But Michelle, for me, last night, for an opening round, the crowd, it was brilliant.
It was fantastic. There were so many fans there. And for me, in terms of performance, the fact that we had an 8 meters and 40 jump in the long jump, and then, of course, a really exciting 5,000 meter heats.
It tells me that the track is fast. I mean, being an ex-athlete, I can tell the surface is good, the conditions feel great inside, but there's something special about our World Championships. Of course, the best of the best are here, but they seem to be ready. They seem to be peaking at the right time. And of course, we've already had a gold medal winner last night.
I was just about to say, we saw the best are in the best shape because the conditions out on the course at the Corniche were super tough, but we had our first World Champion course in the women's marathon.
We certainly did. I know a couple of my colleagues were there, were working. They said it was a fantastic atmosphere, and we can now show you the highlights. Have a look.
That'll be a very welcome sound, that last lap bell for these athletes, whether on the track or in a multi-lap marathon like this. It is so welcome. It signals a surge from Chepngetich, just as if, ironically, it were a middle distance race. This is a big push, and very quickly, in the space of probably a minute and a half, she has torn that little quartet asunder. It was looking very comfortable for a long time. But Chepngetich here, Ruth Chepngetich, who has burst into the spotlight over this last year, is easing away, and that is a very significant gap. What is significant, I suppose, is how quickly the gap has been imposed. Ruth Chepngetich, a class apart on the occasion that matters most in 2019. And there she crosses the start line, 195 meters to run, sprints for the line. Look at the freshness, look at the power as she surges towards the line. The first gold medal of these 2019 IAAF World Championships goes to Kenya. Ruth Chepngetich takes gold in the women's marathon. A winning time for Chepngetich, 2:32.43 unofficially.
And what an incredible performance from the athletes out on the course. We in the stadium here are quite spoiled, as you can see, because there's some air vents to keep us cool. Ewan, can you tell us more about them?
I can. Lucky I've used 10 tons of hairspray on my hair, I was be going everywhere. Now this is a brilliant initiative here inside the stadium, because basically before competition, I'll move because it's so windy, they put these air vents on to control the temperature inside the stadium. As we know, outside's very hot. In fact, it was 102 degrees as I walked over with my colleagues from the hotel earlier. They turn these vents off an hour before competition starts, because of course in athletics you can't have any artificial wind readings, the legal wind limit being 2 meters per second. So it's lovely down here now, but come competition, it will be around 25 degrees.
And speaking of new innovations, our colleagues from Event Presentation have been working tirelessly for the last 2 years to make tonight extra special, and there will be something very exciting in store for you. Let's take a look.
Well, we really put a lot of effort to show that we're innovative, that we can build a great stage for our athletes and also a great experience for the TV spectators and the spectators here in the venue by optimizing the screens, by building a separate stage for our medalists, that they can really actually enjoy the view into the stadium, see the whole crowd that supported them to get to their medals, and create a really unique feeling for them to really be able to celebrate their great achievement. And what I really can't wait now, you know, to plan so long and now be so close to it and finally see the end product, because I've never seen it in real life. Like, we have done the tests, but I've never seen it in real life, and we're all gonna see it at the men's 100-meter final on Saturday night. I can't wait for that.
What we've done this year is we've basically gone back to ground zero and started again. We've completely redesigned and rebuilt the graphics pack. So what you'll see on screen is completely brand new. A lot more storytelling to help the fans at home understand what's happening in each particular event. You know, events like heptathlon and decathlon, they're not particularly, they're not the best in explaining themselves. So we're trying to help that on screen with the graphics, and then in turn help the commentators as well explain what's going on.
Well, we've teased you all week already with this, but as I said, the men's 100-meter final, 10:15 this evening, you are in for something absolutely electric. I'm not talking about the performances. I've no doubt it will be at least 9.7, 9.8 to win that gold medal. But something special will happen on this track. It really is amazing. I don't want to give too much away, but I've seen it in rehearsals. It's good.
I haven't, so I can't wait. But speaking of innovations, there's also going to be a new event at this championships, the mixed 4x4 relay. You used to be a 400-meter runner. Have you ever run a mixed relay?
I've not, but there's a lady just out of shot who I'm going to speak to in a minute who I would have been delighted to have run with. When we were at the top of our game, I think we were known as the Milky Bar Twins. I think we would have run a good relay, but it's really interesting, the dynamic. That you can have two men, two females, and it's up to you what order they run in. So do you go fully loaded at the beginning? So do you put two men going first, try and get a lead, and then maybe get clawed back? Or do you go with the women first and then play catch-up? So it's a really interesting dynamic, and I think as a spectator, it's going to be really exciting.
It certainly will be. I think you mentioned Kat there. You wanted to have a chat with her about what's coming up tonight?
I certainly do. So I'm going to very smoothly wander over here and I'm going to join our brilliant commentators, our stadium announcers. Of course it is Catherine Merry and Jeff Whiteman. They're here for the entire championships. I've got to say, they are the best in the business. I'm not just saying it because they're next to me. They truly are. And I'll start with Catherine. I mean, last night was fantastic, but tonight, the first track final, and it's going to be the big one.
It is. It's going to be busy. It's going to be exciting. It was good last night. There was a wonderful atmosphere, and tonight we really get going. 2 track finals, 2 field finals. Looking forward to the men's sprints, of course, but we've got the women's hammer final as well, which I'm looking forward to. Qualification in the men's pole vault, which is just another stacked event here at the World Championship. So, no, we're starting to get into the thick and the fast action on the track and in the field. And of course, it's exciting. There's just so many events this year in 2019 that we just can't call.
Jeff, what surprised me, and I was pleasantly surprised last night, because I thought the opening night, it's only qualification, it might not be busy in here, the crowd might not be fantastic, but it really was. The noise for a qualification round was spine-tingling. I can only imagine what the finals will be like.
Yeah, and some of the media commentary was to that effect, and it was mostly Ethiopian and Kenyan expats in here to support the women's steeplechase, the 5,000 meter heats, and they did make a really good noise. I hope they're back again this evening, but in any event, we've got some real blue chip finals. We've got the men's long jump, which we had the qualification for yesterday. Echevarria out to 8:40 in qualification. You never know, bit of a tailwind. It's a pretty quick surface over there. And then the one that will inevitably take the headlines, the last event of the day, the showstopper, the men's 100-meter final. Millions of people tuning in from around the world. And we all know what will precede that in terms of the sort of thing that has never been seen in event presentation before. Exciting stuff.
And Kath, you'd expect nothing less when you come to a World Championships. It is the creme de la creme. But do you think we might see a few world records? Because I don't know what you feel like being an ex-athlete, but it does seem very fast, this track.
The track is fast, and I think I realised it was fast. I think probably at the beginning of the men's 100 metres round one yesterday when we had a 10.01 clocking, and I think myself and Jeff referred to it like, oh, hang on, we've got good conditions, we've got a fast track. It could be special. The men's 400-metre hurdles is going to be potentially challenged. The men's long jump, it could be potentially challenged. And what was nice, though, Ewan, on social media yesterday, so many of the athletes that competed said, you know what, this environment, this stadium is one of the best that I've ever competed in.
That's lovely to hear as well, isn't it, Jeff? Because, you know, being a former athlete yourself, it does make a difference when the crowd are behind you. But I know it was black and white television when you were an athlete, but in terms of the technology and the surfaces today, I bet you'd love to be around now, wouldn't you?
Well, actually, it's a bit of a moot point because this is a Mondo surface that is built for sprinters. So every stadium that's ever been built wanted the Bolt world record. So it's hard and fast and almost concrete reactive. For the distance runners, if they do heats of a 5,000 or a single 10,000, you do feel it a little bit. It's fairly resilient, but yeah, you'd love to compete in a stadium. We all would, wouldn't we?
Oh, yes.
We'd be hoping for a 24-hour finish in a 400 these days, wouldn't we?
Well, do you know what? You two can have a personal competition in a minute because you've got to get back to the commentary box, and I know who my money's on. Give Jeff at least half an hour head start. He's over 70 now. Guys, we'll hear from you later on, but for now, Michelle, back to you.
Ewan, and thank you, Kath and Jeff, and I hope you have a great night. As we heard there was a lot of buzz on social media, and you can actually get involved in this show. Just use the hashtag World Athletics Champs, tag at IAAF.org or at IAAF_athletics on Instagram, and send us a short video of any questions you might have. And we will pick the best ones and we'll play them in the show. So send in your questions and we will put it up on the big screen. But now let's take a quick look at what was buzzing on social media last night.
Now, as we know, in any World Championship final, any event, the pressure is on, the nerves are high. It's what the athletes have trained all year for. But you've got to say, the 100 meters, that is when you have to really control your nerves. It's all about the start. I mean, these new starting blocks this year are fantastic. They actually have a camera inside the blocks, which gives us a proper bird's eye view of when the athletes blast away from the start line. And I honestly think tonight, the difference between the winner and the loser literally could be in those first 10 meters. We'll have a little demonstration. I've got a couple of volunteers here. I don't know what their athletic ability is like, but let's see who out of these two could be crowned champion tonight. So ready, boys? On your marks. Set, go! See, there you have an example of a pretty even start. Oh, they're still going, it's up to them. I only wanted to demonstrate start. Oh, there you see, whatever level you're at, there's always competition. But I truly do feel tonight, it's the athlete who can probably control the nerves the best. And it's all about the mind games. Of course, we'll see the semi-final beforehand. And it's all about the call room. Sometimes the race is won before they get in the blocks. They'll have a call room, a second call room, and then they start eyeballing each other. It's just them and the 7 other finalists, and that's when the mind games can start. That's when some athletes like to keep themselves to themselves. They keep quiet. They like to remain in their thoughts. Others like to get in your face. I'm not going to say it. Well, I might do. Most American sprinters are quite loud. They normally like to bounce around the call room, beat their chest, and show them who's boss. So let me tell you, the boss will be decided at 10:15 tonight. Michelle, over to you.
Quick off the blocks there, Ewan. Now, I already mentioned the men's 5,000 heats yesterday were very special, and I got myself a very special guest. But I don't want to give too much away, so let's take a quick look first at what went on and why so many people around the world were fascinated by that race.
Remo Sukar Dabo of Guinea-Bissau is literally dragging the brave Aruban Jonathan Busby to the finish line. They are going to finish together here. The crowd are on their feet. Anybody who's able, standing, to salute this outstanding demonstration of sportsmanship and camaraderie. They didn't travel here to drop out. They travelled here to finish. Brema Sukardabo and Jonathan Busby, to a huge ovation from this massive crowd in Doha, have finished the 5,000 metres. And what a demonstration of the esprit de corps and the friendship that exists between runners of all levels from all countries around the world.
And I have with me the man that made this night so special, Brema Dabo. Welcome.
Boa tarde.
Now, when you were running along the back straight and you saw Jonathan Busby in front of you struggling, what was going through your mind?
Quando viste Jonathan a correr à tua frente, o que é que te passou pela cabeça?
Neste momento, penso que qualquer um que estaria na minha posição, o que passaria na cabeça dele é ajudar o Jonathan a terminar a prova. É claro que tínhamos todo o objetivo, né, que é o objetivo principal, representar o nosso país ao alto nível, independentemente de cada um ter o seu objetivo pessoal, que era no meu caso. Tinha o meu objetivo pessoal, mas este objetivo pessoal, a partir do momento que eu percebi de que não estava ao alcance de concretizá-lo, mas vale a pena continuar a lutar pelo objetivo principal, que é o que acabamos por realizar, eu e Jonathan, e foi uma honra.
So, of course, I was planning to do my best during this race, including beating my personal best. I saw my former colleague, or my fellow colleague, needing some help, so I chose to help him and support him throughout the race. Since we're both here to represent our countries and finish the race, so that became my priority and the goal of both of us. So that's why I decided to help him throughout the end.
And there is going to be a fair play award, so anything like this that is happening will go on social media, and there will be a vote by the end of the championships, so we'll keep an eye on more of these moments. Ewan, I think we're going to head over to you now.
Yes, thanks, Michelle. We've been alluding to this for quite a long time, and tonight you really are in for a massive treat at 10:15, because it's not just the 100-metre final. There's going to be a special floor show that is going on, and I'm not talking about weeks of development. I'm not talking about months. We're talking about years and years of really hard work from Florian and all the IAAF team that has gone into developing something truly unique. The first time we've seen it in our sport. So yesterday, I did a little guided tour of the very important people who work so hard behind the scenes. Let's meet them.
Now, we all know the World Championships is such a huge global success, but so much hard work behind the scenes goes into making these championships run as smoothly as they do. We're talking years of preparation, and in terms of while the games are on, let me show you around a little bit. This is sort of top secret. This is some graphics that are going to be used for the final, never been used at World Championships before. Let me just say, state of the art, in fact, almost Star Wars stuff. Amazing. Let's go through this area here. This is where all the editing take place. In fact, you behind the camera, this is your job. This is what you guys normally do there. Out here, you'll probably get a gist of the action. This is the opening night of these World Championships. And as I said, everything out there is really being run by what happens here. Come through. Now, these guys are part of Seiko there. They do the timing, but they also do the graphics on the boards. So when someone qualifies for the long jump final, for example, they'd put up Greg Rutherford, 8 meters 40, qualified. They get the opportunity to share the good news with everyone in the crowd. This corner here, this is why you're hearing me. These are the people that control not only my sound, not only the commentator's sound, but the sound that goes all around the stadium. One touch of a wrong button, someone's in big trouble. Now, as we go along here, this is where the magic really happens. We have Florian, Flo as we call him, our boss, sat up there. He calls this whole meeting. Next to him there, you've got Andy, another man, very important, no doubt very stressed at this moment, because without these guys, this can't happen. They are trying to control everything that goes on. They're coordinating what you see on the big screens and also what happens with all the television networks around the world. We have superstar DJs. So all the music you hear, we've got 2 DJs here, and they'll be making all the music happen as we come along here. As I said, I'll keep my voice down because this is where the stress levels are high.
Stand by for the first highlight, athletes.
Next to Andy, we've got Chris here, a very important man. He coordinates absolutely everything. If there's a delay in the men's 200 meters, he has to relay that message to all of the television networks, all of us. He is basically the competition boss. We've got Molly here. Molly produces what you are watching now, the pre-show. So to me, he's very important. We've got Arndt here, another producer. The 3 big bosses along here. Very important people. Let's keep going. I think this does all the lighting. So as you'll see out there, there's some beautiful lights on the top of the stadium, lights along the floors there. And if someone like me was accidentally to touch, well, I won't even touch anything. Now these guys here, they're controlling all the graphics, I believe. So basically, when they have to relay who has won what race, if they get a spelling mistake, they're in trouble. Now, this is the sort of hub. This is if you want the computer that makes everything run smoothly. When you just look at the wires, I mean, it's unbelievable. The amount of tech, I'll be dead honest, I don't know exactly what does what. But I know this here, this controls what is the top secret. This controls, from here onwards, is going to control what's going to happen for all of the finals. All I will say without getting myself in trouble is the lights go out, but the magic happens. As you can tell, I'm not a technical expert, but all I know is the team I work with, they're brilliant.
And while we've now had a look at what's going on all around this stadium, tonight we'll have another final at the Corniche outside. And that is the 50-kilometer race walk. Because I'm not the best at race walking. I actually got myself some help from an Olympic race walker, Inaki Gomez. Hi, Inaki.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
How excited are you about the final tonight?
It's a great event. It's a race for gladiators, right? You got 50 kilometers, so over 3.5 hours of racing. It's a tough one, so we're pretty excited to see what these guys can do.
So for those of us who aren't that familiar with what is actually key in the race walking, can you just talk us through some of the main things?
There's 2 basic rules. You know, you got 1 foot on the ground at all time, so that foot has to be planted, and the leg that's planted needs to be straight. So that's what creates that wonky sort of hip moving kind of motion.
I'm just challenging you,
you
there for a race.
Okay.
Oh. Do we have any judges around? Oh no, there we can see Inaki there. I got a red card, I've just been told, so I'm very sorry about that. Inaki, who have you got your money on tonight?
We'll see. It's going to be tough conditions, but in the 50K, anyone can win. As long as you're in the top 8 of halfway through, you know, you're vying through. But I mean, I'm Canadian. I'm going to be calling for Evan Dunphy for it, so we'll see how he goes.
And let's find where Ewan has gone. He's over there. Ewan, I think that's pretty much it from us.
It is. The pre-show's just about done for tonight, Michelle, but I'm going to obviously be here all evening. I'm the infield host, so when all the action happens, you'll be hearing from myself, from Jeff, Catherine, and of course up there, Mohammed and Syed as well. In terms of the live streaming part of it, I'll be back with yourself tomorrow. I bet you're. Where are you going? To VIP now to have some nice ice cream and relax?
I've actually got to do some work and join my media colleagues on the tribune up there. But I can't wait to be back here tomorrow.
Well, we will see Michelle tomorrow. As I said, I'm here all evening. You're in for a massive treat. It's going to be a brilliant second night of these IAAF World Championships. Enjoy it.